Okay. All right. Good evening. Just wanted to go over the homework for this evening. Remember, you have to turn in your homework tomorrow. This is imperative that you're understanding. And then, of course, the new is that if you don't get your homework done, it will be notified. Your parents will be notified. So, on that happy note, I know you are super excited to get your homework started. Let's take a look at number one. It says use the table for questions 1 through 3. So we're going to use this table over here. And the title of this table is Number of Races 1. Team A, number of races. Team A won 4 races. Team B won 8 races. Team C won 5 races. Okay? This one right here, this table reads, the title of it is Number of Points Scored. Okay, so Team A scored a total of 20 points. Team B scored a total of 40 points, and Team C scored a total of 25 points. Let's take a look at our questions. A scale of 10 would be more appropriate for a bar graph of the data in the table titled. Now, when we're talking about scale, we're talking about if I am going to put this in a bar graph. Here we have the y-axis and we have the x-axis, and we were going to have the categories here and the numbers here. This is what we're referring to as the scale. The scale is how it's going to be numbered. So we have to look at it. It would be easier to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. Or if we were going to have a scale of 10, which means that we will skip count by tens, which one would then be the best one to skip count by tens? So let's take a look. Would this be easier to skip count by tens? Number 4, 8, and 5. Doesn't make sense, right? Because we're starting off with 10. If this was 10, we would have to put them all below 10. Let's take a look here. 20, 40, and 25. Would that be the easiest? Yeah, absolutely. Because here you can go 10, 20, 30, 40, and that'd be easier to, because your first one would be here, then your 40, and then your 25. So you're absolutely right. So the title, the one that would be best to have a scale or to skip count would be the number of points scored. A scale of 2 would be more appropriate for a bar graph of the data in the table titled. And here, would it be easier to skip count by 2s? Yeah, absolutely. Because you can always have your 5 that goes right after your 4, and that would be, because it's going to skip counting by 2, so it'll be in between. So this one would be the number of races 1. Okay? Now let's take a look here. This third one says make a bar graph. Make bar graphs below to display the data in each table. All right, so we're going to take this first table here. This is the title, and therefore the title goes here. And the title of it is Number of Races 1. Okay? Remember, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. And so here we have team, this is x, this is y. I'll put x off this side, make it easier. So the axis is going to be the teams. And here, this is going to be which column? Right, the number of races. So your numbers are going to come up here. So we're going to put number of races. Okay. Can you see that? Do I need to bring it back? Okay. I'm kind of squeeze that in. All right. So how many teams do we have? 1, 2, and 3. So for team A, and I'm going to move this down a bit. Team B and team C. Okay. So for team A, Oh, we needed to number this one here, and we said it would be best to number it by skip counting by twos. So again, this will always be, because this is the point of origin, it's O, and this is 2, 4, 6, 8, and then my top number is 10. But as you can see, I won't be passing 10, will I? So my first one for A, I won 4 races. And so I'm going to draw this here and shade in. Let's look at B. I won 8 races, and I'm going to bring it all the way up to my 8. And I'm going to bring this down here, shade this in. And for C, I won 5 races. But if you take a look here, you have 4 and 6, so that 5 is going to come right in that middle. Okay, and that's the way your bar graph, and again, this is a bar because we have bars here, is going to look. Now, let's do a bar graph for this next one. So, number of points scored. So, go ahead and start working on this. Pause it so that you can work on it independently, and then turn the video back on to see if you got it correct. Okay. Again, here is my title. And here's my title here. This is the x-axis, which is the first number. This is the y-axis, which is the second number. I'm going to put my team here. And I hope you did really well when you're checking your work. And you should have put the number of points. I'm not going to fit it there. So it's number of points. I'm going to put that there. And I said up here, I'm going to skip count by tens. I'm going to have a scale of 10. So again, my point of origin is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. But it won't look like I'm going to end up hitting 50, but I went ahead and marked it. Team A scored 20 points. So I'm going over to my 10, 20 bar. There's Team A, Team B, and Team C. And I shaded it in. And you should have done that as well. So how are you doing so far? Team B is at 40. And Team C is at 25. Well, here's 20 and 30, and the halfway mark is at 25. So I'm going to put it at the halfway mark. And yours, I hope that yours looks like mine. And if it does, you're absolutely correct. Okay? If you have questions, go ahead and write the questions out so that I can answer those tomorrow for you. Tomorrow is tutoring, so come in if you have any problems. A pastry chef surveyed her customers to find out which type of berry is their favorite. The results of the survey are shown in the table and bar graph. Use the table and the bar graph for questions 4 and 5. Okay, so what scale was used to make the bar graph? So let's look over here. We went from 0 to 4 to 8 to 12 to 16 to 20. Yes, I heard we skip counted by 4s. Another way of saying it is that all the numbers are multiples of 4. Okay? All right, which berry got the most votes? Berry got most votes. And which data display did you use to find this? So which one are you using to find it? So I'm looking here at my bar graph, and I can see the tallest one is raspberry. So I know that the raspberry received the most votes, and I looked at the bar graph. Now, for you, if looking at these numbers here are easier for you, then you would circle raspberry, and then the 20s show that it had the greatest amount. Here, I'm going to just circle and my 20 here. Okay? All right. So far, so good? Alrighty, let's take a look at number 6. Leon makes a bar graph of the favorite cheese data in the frequency table. Frequency table, right? Number of votes. This is your frequency. How often did the cheddar cheese get those votes? How many bars will the graph have? So if we made a graph, a bar graph, how many bars will you have? Yes, I'm going to have one for cheddar, one for Monterey, one for mozzarella, and one for Swiss. So I'm going to have 4 bars. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Because if I turn it this way, put my title on top, the cheddar's going to be down here, and my numbers will be on this side. And then I make my graph. Does that help you? Next question. Felicia makes a bar graph of the favorite citrus fruit data in the frequency table. Where will the bar for the tangerine end? Okay, so here's the table. If I made a bar graph, here's the fruit, grapefruit, orange, tangerine. It's asking me about the tangerine. I'm going to go to the tangerine, and it's going to end on the number of votes. It's going to end on 18. Okay, so all you're doing is reading this one here, analyzing, and this is what we've done. Okay, use the table and then complete graph for 8 to 10. Okay, which scale is the best choice for completing the graph? Okay, again, scale. So look at my choices here for the number of books. Here, my table has bookstore sales. So they had the type of book. So they had new books. Number they sold for that was 35. They had used books. The number sold was 60. And then they had e-books, those the electronic books, and the number sold were 25. All right, so which scale is the best choice for completing the graph? So if we're over here, book sales, bookstore sales, numbers sold, types of books, I'm going to have new, used, and I'm going to put E for ebook. Okay? I could have written a little bit smaller. It could have been N, U, and then E. So whichever way is going to work best. So which is the type of scale? Yeah, absolutely. Would 1 be, because I have to go to 60, 35, 60, and 25. No, that's not a work. 4? No, that's not going to work. 2s? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Nope. What about 5s? Yep, the 5s would work out best. Here you would have your 0. You would 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And you would continue going up till you hit 60. Okay? Now let's look at this multi-step problem. The number of books the bookstore donates to a library is 1/4 of the total number of books sold. So I have 1/4 the total number of books sold. How many books are donated to the library? Okay, so 1/4 of the total number of books. So how many books did I sell? Well, I have to take my total number here, and I'm going to add them up. So 35 plus 60 plus 25